4 or 1-4-5. Now that you know the winning combos you'd like to be in, you need to know how to convert into them. And you do that with moves called mark traps and passbacks. With both passbacks and mark traps, you are slowing down an opponent to let your teammates sail past. A few situations where you might do a passback or mark trap are as follows. Your team has a 1-3, like the black boats here, and you convert it into a 1-2. Or your team has a 1-4-6. The white team here has the 4-6 downwind, and they convert that into a 1-4-5. Let's discuss passbacks first. Passbacks involve 3 boats sailing near each other in the open course. Your goal in a passback is to gain control of an opponent, slow them down, and let your teammates sail fast and free, passing you both. The perfect controlling position upwind is to be the windward boat, bow forward, pinning the opponent from tacking, and also stealing their wind. You have to stay close enough to prevent them from tacking, but make sure you are far enough away so that you don't foul them as the windward boat. Let's watch as boats perform upwind passbacks here. See here as the windward black boat, the 2, is stealing their opponent's wind while their teammate, boat 1, sails fast forward. Once both boats are solidly ahead of the orange competitor, they tacked around the mark. Downwind, you perform a passback by acquiring a tight leeward position on an opponent and luffing them, like the black boat is doing here. While you and the opponent are luffing, your teammate sails fast towards the leeward mark. Remember earlier in the video when Tim described how to acquire a tight leeward position while sailing downwind. The key was to stay a half a boat length to the left of your opponent, like you can see black number 3 doing here to orange number 4. This way you always have starboard tack advantage during the jibing duel. If black boat number 3 were to jibe here, they would have starboard advantage on orange number 5. You can see up ahead as an orange boat jibes to starboard and heads for the black boat. Another bonus to setting up to the left downwind is that you have inside overlap as you approach the leeward mark. You can also perform passbacks by pinning an opponent. With pinning, you are using the racing rules of sailing to prevent an opponent from tacking or jibing. Watch here as the black boat in the center of your screen pins orange number 6 from tacking around the windward mark. Meanwhile, black's teammate behind tacks around. Again, here you see the gray boat number 10 sailing just to windward and behind of yellow boat number 8, pinning them from tacking too close. To pin downwind, you must be the leeward boat overlap with the opponent or be so close behind them that you prevent them from jibing too close. Most of the regattas we sail, if a boat jibes to starboard, they have to at least give the other boat 3 seconds before they hit. So if you stay close to a boat ahead, you can prevent them from jibing too close. So downwind pins are pretty straightforward, but with upwind there are 2 distinct pinning moves. They are called the out the back method and out from underneath methods. In the out the back method, the opponent is pinned from tacking or jibing, and your teammate tacks out the back, ducking both boats, heading towards the weather mark. This is very common near ley lines. In the out from underneath method, which happens in the open course, the boat being freed, which is red boat number 15 here, sails fast while her teammate, red number 13, covers the white opponent. Red number 15 is escaping out from underneath. For each of these methods, the boat doing the pinning sets up differently. In the out the back method, the pinner sets up towards the back of the opponent, not letting them tack or jibe, like black boat number 3 is doing here. That's it for passbacks. Let's move on to mark traps. A mark trap is similar to a passback, except that you use the rules associated with turning marks to your advantage. Let's look at a traditional mark trap. The blue boat here wants to pass his teammate in 3rd place up into the 2nd position. So he enters the 2-boat length circle and slams on the brakes, over trims the main, luffs the jib, maybe swerves around, forcing the red boat to overlap him either to windward or to leeward. If the red boat overlaps to windward, he luffs, taking out the red boat, allowing his teammate to sail fast around the leeward mark. If the red boat goes below blue when he slams on the brakes, the red boat is not entitled to room. So blue hails no room, pins them out at the leeward mark, and blue's teammate goes the opposite way and sails around them both. Now that's a mark trap. And again here at the weather mark, Blue boat enters the 2-boat length circle and slams on the brakes, forcing red to overlap them to leeward. And in this situation, they just sail, pass ley line, go head to wind, and prevent red from tacking, while their blue teammate comes in and tacks around the mark. That's it for passbacks and mark traps. Now that you know what the winning combos are and how to convert into them, we'll move on to one of the most critical pieces of a team race, the start. Starting well is one of the fundamentals of sailing, and it's extremely important in team racing. The best advice we can give is that all 3 teammates should be on the line with speed at the gun. If you get a good start and shoot out into the 1 or 2 spot, you can help your team the most. Be a good teammate and be on the line with speed at the gun. There are 2 basic schools of thought for team race starting. One is man on man, and another are geographic starts. Let's turn to Tim for his advice on geographic starting. Does your team designate who starts where before the pre-start?
Yeah, we've had the same starting assignments since the very beginning. We've all just had our own position that we like to start in. I like to start at the pin. My good friend Tim Fallon likes to start in the middle. And we've had a few different teammates as our third, but it's often either Graham or Mark or Pat, and they're usually the boat guy. And we just get really used to the battles that happen at our different ends of the starting line, and also get used to interacting with each other. So starting at the pin, I'm often interacting with my teammate Timmy, and not seeing the boat guy as much. So we get used to sort of some more complicated plays or situations that might happen with 2 of us working together to try and win the pin end.
Does your team have a specific starting strategy? And if so, will you share it?
Sure. I mean, our basic starting strategy is, we're not trying to outright win the start. We're trying to get an even start, or maybe a slight advantage for us, but we're trying to get that 100% of the time. When we're too aggressive in the pre-start, we find that we have a few starts where we just blow the opponents away. We have a 1, 2, 3 off the line, and then a few where everybody screws up. Somebody fouls, somebody's over, and somebody ends up on the wrong side of the ley line, and all of a sudden the other team has a 1, 2, 3. We just can't come back from it. So for us, the best strategy that we developed is just trying to have everyone have a solid start, not exceptional, but start every race in the hunt. And then hopefully use a little better speed, a little better boat handling, and a little better team racing skills to hopefully win 100% of races from an even start, as opposed to a few times being down 1, 2, 3 right off the line where you have no chance of coming